Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I had a little bit of a dog emergency there, so took care of it, but I'm back. Let me take care of some business and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you're feeling lucky or you feel like gambling, you can hit that bell down below. And YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live next. So go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. All right. So let's get started, shall we? The big thing that happened this week, AMC has announced that they are going to be rebooting Max Headroom, the late 80s, early 90s, I guess, series. Yeah, it's actually late 80s with Matt Frewer. And Matt Frewer is coming back to star in it as well. So they are going to be doing the series. They're rebooting the series completely with the star. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be Max Headroom without Matt Frewer. That's going to be kind of interesting. I'm wondering if they're just going to go full CGI on that, or if he's going to dress up in makeup again, or what's going to happen. I'm guessing they're going to go full CGI. I mean, I don't know if he's going to endure going through that whole makeup process again at his age. So we'll see. This almost makes me want to subscribe to the AMC Plus or whatever it is. I'll probably just want to just watch this series alone. So I'll see if I can, if there's like a series, season pass or something like that for it. But otherwise, that there's really not much else on AMC I'm interested in. So certainly not Interview with a Vampire. That looks like shit. So there you have it. What else? Oh yeah, so MGM lost the rights to Tomb Raider, and how they lost, or I should say, they let the rights lapse to Tomb Raider. So they had to have a production, a movie production they had to have it in production by a certain time frame. They did not have that movie in production by that certain time frame, so they lost the rights to Tomb Raider. As a result of all this, there is now a huge feeding frenzy and bidding war that's going on right now in Hollywood over who's going to get the rights to it. Also, as part of this, Alicia Vikander, who was the last Laura Croft, is no longer attached to star in any movies, which is good because honestly, she was kind of boring. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it flat out. I honestly don't even remember her Tomb Raider movie. I know I watched it at some point, but I don't remember anything about it whatsoever. I don't even remember watching it. So there you go. It's I know I did watch it at some point. I just can't remember anything about it. So obviously it did not leave a good impression. And yeah, so there you have it. Honestly, Tomb Raider as a series or a movie or anything like that, it's kind of boring, really. Yes, I know everyone loves the games and stuff like that, but games do not translate well into movies or series. We've seen this time and time again. Video games are different animals than movies or TV series, and they rarely translate. I mean, one over to the other. Um, Resident Evil being, of course, the biggest example because I think it's had the most movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they've had animated series, they've had what is it now? 7 movies going on, I think somewhere around there. Um and now of course they have a live action series on Netflix which was, you know, mediocre at best. It wasn't great, it wasn't horrible, but it was just kind of there. I'm trying to figure out when movie studios are going to realize that video games do not translate well over into series. I'm guessing once HBO Max does, The Last of Us or yeah, that video game. which they're making into a series with Pedro Pascal. Uh, I'm wondering if that's going to actually be good or if it's just going to crash and burn. And if it crashes and burns, maybe we'll see a moratorium on, video game TV shows, movie series. I mean, from what I've been hearing about Halo on, was it Paramount Plus? I've heard that's not good either. So there's been a lot of people that are upset with that series. Bruce Campbell says that they're in talks right now, or talks have started, I should say, for an Ash versus Evil Dead animated series, basically taking place where season 3 left off of Ash versus Evil Dead, which is great. He says he will voice Ash, in video games, animated series, things like that, because of course his voice isn't aging, but his body is, and he can't take the damage anymore of actually filming those kind of things anymore. So there you have it. I am all for this, quite honestly. I'm hoping it lands at like Amazon or Netflix. Actually, I hope it's Amazon, and that way we can actually get a weekly release instead of a dumping it all at once release, kind of like what Amazon. Well, Amazon's been guilty of this as well. Paper Girls being one of those examples recently that they just dumped it all at once. So yeah. Sleeper says Nathan Fillion's 15-minute Uncharted was more Uncharted than the movie. Yeah, okay. I haven't seen it. And honestly, I haven't played the Uncharted video games, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Um, so going back to Ash versus Evil Dead, yeah, I'm actually all for it. I want to see. I would love to see an animated Ash versus Evil Dead series. Um, it, especially if we're going to get future Ash, that where we left off at the end of season 3, and I think it'd be pretty fucking awesome. But who knows? Hopefully, we'll hear something about that soon. Season 6 of Rick and Morty is going to premiere on September 4th. So just after Labor Day, or just before Labor Day, I guess is where we're going to be at, right? Yeah, Labor Day weekend, I guess, is where we're going to be at. Rick and Morty season 6 is going to premiere September 4th. I don't cover the show here. I know everyone asks me, why don't you cover Rick and Morty? Mainly because the fans are very, very fucking rabid and psycho. So I don't bother with it at all because, quite honestly, I just don't have the bandwidth in order to deal with that kind of bullshit. So that's why I don't deal with it. Yeah, when you have a fan base that is that fucking psycho, yeah, I just don't want to deal with it. There are plenty of other fandoms out there that are psycho, but not to that degree. So there you have it. But I will be watching season 6, obviously. I'm hoping it's going to be on HBO Max because, man, I don't know what's going on right now with HBO, Warner Brothers, all those properties now that Discovery Plus has taken over. Since Discovery Plus has taken over and they're trying to cut out $3 billion out of their budget, they are hacking and slashing away at everything. I know they're not going to take out Rick and Morty because Rick and Morty is a cash cow, but I just don't know where they're gonna have it at. If they're gonna have it at Adult Swim still, if they're gonna move it over to HBO Max, what might happen to all of that. So we'll see what happens. And speaking of which, on August 25th, Dan Harmon's production company and Dan Harmon himself, they're going to be having so August 25th, they're going to be premiering Little Demon on Hulu, which is another animated series with Danny DeVito voicing the devil and Aubrey Plaza voicing his daughter. And of course, she finds out that she's the daughter of the devil, which we've already done this series before. This was back in the early 2000s on MTV. There was something called Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, which I believe is on, if you go and take a look on Hulu, there's probably episodes up. And so this has already been done before, but Dan Harmon's now doing this for Hulu. It's called Little Demon, August 25th. So take of it what you will. The trailer is up. The trailer is okay. I mean, it's nothing to write home about. I'll probably take a look at it and see, you know, what it's about. Because again, it's on Hulu, and yeah, and right now I actually have a subscription to Hulu too, and a very cheap subscription at that. So, Disney Plus is developing Aragon into a series. So, Disney actually, who owned the rights to that? Actually, I believe Fox owned the rights to Aragon. That's what it was. So Fox was working on Aragon the movie, and of course Disney bought out Fox, so now they own the rights to Aragon. So they're actually making Aragon into a series. I had heard about this a while back, that this was happening, and it makes sense, honestly, since was it ILM is the one that was doing all the special effects for Aragon, and I believe they still have all those models and stuff like that. And I believe Disney has a huge, buy-in to ILM, so it kind of makes sense to have all that stuff all in one house. Fun fact: one of my teachers, one of my animation teachers, way back in the day, was animating Aragon the Dragon for the movie, for that Aragon movie that came out a while back. Um, he worked at ILM, so of course that's what he was working on. It was all a hush hush thing at the time, and he told us about it before it got became public knowledge. So yeah, big to do, I know. August 26th, Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone premieres on Amazon Prime. We got a trailer for that one. The trailer didn't look bad. It's got the kid from Umbrella Academy, episode or season 3, I should say, of Umbrella Academy, the one that was pretending to be Diego's son. That kid, he is the one that supposedly finds Samaritan. Who it's the story about a hero who, superhero, who decides to go underground for 20 years, and the city goes to shit. And this kid finds him and supposedly, I guess, convinces him to go back to becoming a superhero. Yeah, kind of like Megamind in a way, only without, I guess, the supervillain involved. I don't know, but it it's going to be on Amazon Prime. So honestly, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you don't have to worry about paying extra for it. It's going to be there uh, as part of what you're watching. So, like I said, it looked okay. It didn't look fantastic. It didn't look shitty. It just looked like it was okay. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that Stallone is getting in on the superhero movie gig. Um, he kind of already did tangentially with Guardians of the Galaxy, which I understand he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as well. So he's part of the original group of Guardians of the Galaxy. And when I say original group, I'm talking about the comics. So in the comics, there are 3 different versions of the Guardians of the Galaxy group. The one that we see in the movies is the most current incarnation in the comics. There's one from the 90s as well, when the 90s rebooted it. That is the one that Sylvester Stallone's group is part of now. And then, of course, there's the original one from the 1960s when Guardians of the Galaxy first started. And part of that group actually made it into the 90s group. So, yeah. It's like every 30 years or so, it kind of reboots itself and gets some updates on teams and whatnot to, for the comics. So yeah, I'll watch Samaritan. Again, I'll cover it. I'll be covering it eventually. This is where I'll cover it. Speaking of which, speaking of something that I'll be covering, it's going to be an Is It Worth Your Time? Is what it's going to be. Same thing with this one. Guillermo del Toro's animated Pinocchio movie is going to drop on Netflix sometime in December. It's a stop motion movie that he's doing. It looks interesting. It's again, it's Guillermo del Toro, so it's going to have that aspect, that horror aspect to it. Think of Henry Selick, Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, Nora, that kind of stuff. That is kind of the animation style that it's going for. I'm actually kind of surprised that Guillermo del Toro is pumping something out. He's always been known to have like 40 different projects that he's attached to, and doesn't release anything. So I'm, kind of surprised that he's actually releasing something. Because I think the last thing he released was that he actually directed was Shape of Water, which was what, like 5, 6 years ago, somewhere around there. So, which makes sense if he's doing stop motion animation. So, yeah, that would be about the right time frame. Yeah, and I know everyone associates Tim Burton with Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton was the producer, and I believe he's a writer on that, or a partial writer. But Henry Selick is the one that is the reason why that looks as good as it does. Excuse me. My throat was a little bit on the raspy side there. It still is a bit. So Jason Momoa was doing, I think, a live stream or something like that, and walking around the set of Warner Brothers for Aquaman 2. And he walked into a trailer without knocking. And who happened to be in that trailer? But Ben Affleck. So supposedly Ben Affleck is supposedly going to be reprising his role as Batman, or Batfleck as we like to call him, in Aquaman 2. So they are doing some reshoots right now for Aquaman 2, obviously because of the whole Amber Heard thing. They got rid of her role essentially. Her character is dead. Let's just face it, her character is dead, and so they are beefing up some other aspects of the movie itself. So yeah, so Ben Affleck is going to be in Aquaman 2 as Batman still. I believe he's supposed to be in the Flash movie, the one with Ezra, 15 State Killing Spree Ezra, Ezra Miller. He's going to be out there. If that movie doesn't get pulled by Warner Brothers I don't know. If it has been pulled, they're probably never going to pull it. I mean, they probably got enough money invested in it that they don't want to pull it. Even if he just, pulls a Buscemi and drives across 15 state lines wearing a woman's head for a hat. That's a Con Air reference, by the way, for you kids at home that don't know what that is. Go watch Con Air. You'll see what it is. The final thing I've got for you guys is David Krumholtz is going to be reprising his role as Bernard the Elf in the Disney Plus series, The Santa Clauses. The Santa Clauses, yes, because there's going to be multiple Santa Claus. And of course, clauses being a play on words of clause, clauses for a contract. Yeah, anyway. So yes, there was a whole big to do that David Krumholtz wasn't going to be coming back as Bernard, and then all of a sudden now he is. So those of you '90s kids who were really big into the Santa Claus and its sequels, well, there you have it. It's back again. And that's all I got for you guys news wise. There's really nothing much else out there. Of course, it's the weekend after Comic-Con, so there isn't going to be a lot of news. And also, it's before the D23 Expo. So the D23 Expo happens in September. So you're not going to hear a lot of Marvel news. You're not going to hear a lot of movie, MCU news as well, because they're going to be holding all of that for D23. I mean, sure, they announced quite a bit during Comic-Con. They basically took out any thunder that DC had. I mean, they just destroyed them completely. And that was only a small little bit of information that they gave at Comic-Con. D23 is going to be a lot bigger. Yeah, it's going to be nuts. I toyed with the idea of actually getting tickets to that, and then I was like, no, I don't want to. Hey, Stanley. So, and oh, by the way, I know I missed Harley Quinn yesterday. I was supposed to do Harley Quinn episode 3. The day just kind of got away from me on that. I had a lot of things I was doing and I forgot about it, quite honestly. So I am going to move it to later on this week, and we'll go from there. So I'll get it, of course, before. Would I fly to Anaheim or drive? Well, I'm going at the end of the month of August, Stanley, so I'm going to drive. Right now, the way things are, the state of the airlines right now, um, a lot of flight attendants have said that if you can drive there in 8 or 9 hours drive, do not fly, is what they've said. They said because, basically airlines have been canceling reservations, losing luggage, losing pets, losing children. They've been losing a lot of things, and yeah, I don't like to fly as it is anyway. I don't like being in a pressurized tube with a bunch of other potentially infectious people. So, um, yes, the airports, the airlines, all of them are all understaffed, Stanley. And also, a lot of people are getting COVID, and because COVID is on the rise here in the United States, so people are going out and they're taking a bunch of swath of people with them. So it's understaffing even more. Basically, they're not paying the rates that they should be paying for a living wage, so people are going elsewhere for work. Yeah, it's a worldwide phenomenon, Stanley. It's happening everywhere. I heard Heathrow is especially bad right now in the UK. I've heard that it's nightmarish just getting through the security lines. It's anywhere from 2 to 3 hours long and more sometimes. So no, no thanks. No flying for me on that. So also, the nice thing about having a car, when you go down to Disneyland or all that kind of stuff, because I mean, basically down in Anaheim, if you're gonna go to the D23 Expo, you're going to Disneyland because Disneyland is literally right across the street from the expo. So it'd be kinda stupid to go all that way and not go across the street to Disneyland, even though you're paying for tickets for the expo. Um, but for me, what I like is, I'll buy shit. I mean, like this guy right here. Um, I actually my last trip to Disneyland is where I got the Jedi night mask there, and it comes in a big box, and there was no way that was flying home with me. So I had it shipped, and then I thought they lost it in shipping, and yeah, there was a whole nightmare dealing with that too. So it wasn't fun. Yeah. And the thing was on that trip, I actually flew down and flew back the same day. I flew down that morning and flew back that night. And I came down with an empty backpack. So I knew I was coming down to buy some shit and, you know, pop it in my backpack and come back. Yeah. And it was a big backpack too. So yeah. Stanley said, I'm always amazed how people are drawn to plastic trinkets. I don't know what you're talking about, Stanley. I really don't know what you're talking about. Actually, this little guy down here, he's actually a cup. So he's also from that Disneyland trip. The mouse ears back there, the R2D2 mouse ears are from that trip. Um, that drink mug up there is from that trip. So is that drink mug that's from that trip. Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, no, no, the lightsaber is not from that trip. That is from something else. I think that's it, pretty much, off the things that were from that trip. But there were a few things here. Oh, that Yoda, I believe, or that Grogu right there, I believe is from that trip too. So yeah, there was a few things here and there that I bought. I also bought some stuff for the podcast that was given away. That was during the Bad Batch when the Bad Batch first came out. Um, so there wasn't a lot of merchandise out there for it, and I ended up getting something specifically for the giveaway for the podcast. But yeah, I mean, eventually I'll probably give this guy away. You know, never been used. He's just sitting there. That's mainly what those trips are for. Yeah. But yeah, I'll be posting pictures and stuff like that. Uh, Stanley, so I am gonna be covering Paper Girls. You give me a nice little segue of what's going on for next week. Tomorrow is going to be Westworld. That's right. Westworld will be tomorrow. Tuesday, I believe, is when I'm doing this. Paper Girls. Is it worth my time? Paper Girls season 1 on Amazon. I'll be covering that on Is It Worth My Time. Wednesday will be Harley Quinn episode 3. So I'm going to be covering episode 3 of Harley Quinn on Wednesday. On Thursday, it'll be Harley Quinn episode 4. That's right, episode 4. Friday, I'll be off. Saturday, I'll be off. And then we roll back around again to Saturday morning blast off, or the Sunday edition, I should say, of Saturday morning blast off, or take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about. I'm also checking my schedule to see what else is out there. Yes, that's actually everything that is correct on that. Mhm. And yes, I have watched all of Paper Girls, Stanley. Well, obviously, because I'm going to be doing that on Tuesday. So I actually misspoke too. I think the last time I was on, I said Paper Girls had like 40-minute episodes. It varies per episode. So some were 37 minutes, some were an hour. Um, yeah, it really varied uh, depending on the episode itself. And there's 8 episodes in that series. Yes, I know you're going to tell me to watch Dark as well. I already know this. I've tried now twice to get through Dark, and I get stuck on the second or third episode, and then I just don't go any farther. It just really kind of bores me. The Resort. I haven't tried The Resort, Stanley. I saw the ad for it on Prime, but I haven't looked at it. I think it's a horror movie, right? The Resort. Is that correct? Stanley says, "It's fine. I gave up on Dark with you." I tried, Stanley. I really did. I tried. I mean, the hook needs to be there for me early on. And if I have to fight my way through it, then I forget about it. Oh, it's on. That's where I've seen it. I keep seeing it on ads for Peacock. That's what it is. The Resort. Yeah, I don't have Peacock, so I'm not going to bother with it. Yeah, I don't have Peacock, I don't have Paramount Plus, I don't have, Apple TV, and I don't have AMC Plus, so I don't have those 4. So, anything that's on those, if they're not gonna be crossing over to anything, it's kind of yeah, I have the bigger, streaming services that I subscribe to. Yeah. Oh, from the Palm Springs people, okay. Oh, so it's another time loop kinda thing-ish, or somewhere in that vein? Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. And usually if you don't hear anything about it, yeah, there's usually no buzz on it. Oh, and for those people that keep asking me about, Super Pets, the, animated movie that's out in theaters right now, uh, I'm not hearing anything good, I'm not hearing anything bad about it either. I'm just it's there, and I know the weekend box office has not been kind to it, right now. It's made money, but not anywhere near what its budget is supposed to be, so I'm gonna wait on that one until it comes out on HBO Max, and then I'll probably cover it at that point. It's gonna come out on HBO Max in 45 days from its release date anyway, and it'll make it over to HBO Max, and I'll do it there. Yeah, something with time, not sure yet. Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah, I heard it's not. Oh, some YouTube channels are saying it's not great. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's on Peacock. NBC Universal is not kind to sci-fi shows. They really aren't. They like to say that they are, even though they own a channel called Sci-Fi. It's not sci-fi. It's DC Pets. Okay. But also, NBC Universal is not kind to sci-fi shows. DC Pets. Yeah, DC Pets, I kind of figured it wasn't gonna be great. They keep showing the same clips over and over and over again, which means that there's nothing else there. Hey, MJ. I have found a free streaming service from one of those countries that ignore copy. Oh, yeah. You're sailing the high seas, is what we're saying, MJ. Yeah, I don't do that, unfortunately. So, um, yeah. But the resort is probably a six for you. Okay, Stanley. And welcome, by the way, MJ. Welcome aboard. Yeah. Usually, I really do wish that, so remember back when iTunes used to do movies and TV shows and stuff like that? You could buy a season pass of whatever, and you could watch that season without having to subscribe to something like either HBO or something like that. You spend 20 bucks and you get a season. I kind of wish there was a place like that where you could just spend 20 bucks and you could buy a season of a series and just watch it that way without having to worry about subscribing to Apple TV Plus for, whatever, Severance or something like that. Um, it would make things a lot easier. I know they're not going to do it because no one's going to agree to it. That's what Hulu initially was supposed to be. Hulu was supposed to be that middle ground of all these different companies coming together. There's 4 different companies at one point that were all going to have their product there for people to watch, and they were all going to get a split of the profits, as well as ad revenue too, because of course there was the ad revenue tier. And so Amazon doesn't do that anymore, Stanley. So they do. You can subscribe to certain streaming services through Amazon. So you pay through your Amazon account, and you can sign up for HBO Max or Apple TV Plus, pretty much whatever. And it's because of the Fire TV stick and the Fire TV Cube. Um, you can already have that app available on your stick or cube, and that way you're just subscribing through your Amazon account, paying for it that way. So Amazon still gets a cut of it, but they're also just directing you back to the app, is what they're doing. It's really just more, it's a deal that they have with whatever those services are. And honestly, if the service goes sour between Amazon and whatever streaming service it is, then of course they're going to cut ties and they leave you in the lurch. So you might as well just go immediately to whatever that streaming service is and just sign up for it if that's what you're going to do. But yeah, I like the a la carte idea a lot better, where you can just go in and just buy a season of a series and watch it, or a couple episodes of the series to see if you like it for like a buck 99. I mean, I want to watch the first 3 episodes of something for, $6. I'll do it, sure. And then have that, the option of buying the rest of the season, with the money you've already put in. That would be something that would be interesting. I think it would make a lot more money, especially considering, the recession that's coming, yeah, basically the whole thing with inflation going on. People are not going to be spending that much discretionary money on streaming services right now. It's going to get a lot tighter, and I can see that streaming services are just going to increase their prices more because they're going to be losing more people. Right now, Netflix is the one that's feeling it the most because they are the biggest in the bunch. They lost 1,000,000 subscribers the last month alone, somewhere around there, and that was after the whole, you know, password, tightening down on password sharing, that kind of thing. So they lost about 1,000,000 subscribers, um, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things for them, but, I'm sure it's gonna hit a lot harder fairly soon for them, because of course, they're gonna be raising their prices again as well. So just watch. There's gonna be a lot more drop off on them, especially since their content is okay, but it's not great. I mean, I still have Netflix pretty much, I think, out of habit. Yes, there are some shows on there that I watch, but I mean, honestly, I was just on there earlier today and I was looking around. I'm like, I'm not seeing anything I want to watch. So, yeah, I watched The Gray Man, of course, which is all right. You know, Spiderhead, I haven't bothered watching yet. But Celebro 469 says, I've never seen a Korean drama before. I'm hooked on one on Netflix titled Alchemy of Souls. Looks like live action anime. Huh, interesting. Yeah, there is the live action movie, and again, this is not Korean, this is Japanese, Full Metal Alchemist. So they have the live action movie of that, and I like the animated series. I really like the animated series, and then I watched the live action version of this, and it bored the shit out of me for some reason. And that was on Netflix. That's the one thing I do like about Netflix is you get exposed to a lot of different countries, series and stuff like that, which I thought that's where HBO Max was heading to until they got sold. And now, of course, they're cutting everything across the board. The only thing that isn't getting cut is properties in Spain and France. That's it. Everything else, like Nordic HBO, is gone. Uh, South America HBO gone. Yeah, it's all gone now, other than US, Spain, and France, which is just weird. But I was kind of hoping that HBO Max was going in that direction, you know, as well as spreading out globally, but no, it's not happening. But it also, you know, I feel good in that knowledge that other countries also have shitty, you know, TV programming as well as the US does, and Canada. Um, yeah. Um, so after seeing some of the stuff that's on Netflix, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty shitty. Stanley says, oops, let me show that for you. Stanley says, I'm watching Extraordinary Attorney Woo on Netflix right now, and it's a live action drama rom com in Korean. Have fun shitting on that one. I'm not going to be covering that one, Stanley. So you already have it live action drama rom com. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. I'm not watching that one either. Pretty much right now on Netflix. What did I get finished watching? Fuck, I can't remember what it was. That's how good it was. I mean, I just don't remember what it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was Jurassic Park, the Cretaceous Camp. Yeah. They finally finished the season or finished the series. Episode 5 was the last season of that. And eh, meh. I mean, the whole show was always meh for the most part, but I had already put in enough time on it. I figured I'd finish it out. So, yeah, those kids would have been dead like about 30 minutes into, you know, the adults leaving the island. Stanley says that looked horrible in the first season. I couldn't even watch one episode. I don't blame you. The animation was bad in spots. The dialogue's even worse. And like I said, those kids would have been dead 30 minutes after the adults leaving the island, maybe even sooner. So, but yeah, I finished it out. And like I said, am I better for having watched it? No, no, I'm not. But there you have it. So yes, Stanley, even I watch shit at sometimes too that I don't cover here. One of my favorite Netflix shows that I was watching for that only has one season so far was Cooking with Cannabis. I think I've mentioned that before, and that one's interesting just because they're infusing. It's a competition show. One and two, they are infusing different So basically THC and CBD. So THC, of course, is the stuff that gets you high. CBDs does not get you high. It's the stuff that kind of mellows you out, and might have medicinal purposes as well. Um, so in my day job, way back in the day, when I was down in Southern California, there was actually a conference on CBDs and with doctors and all this kind of stuff, and they were measuring the therapeutic effects of CBD because it's a field of study right now, and it's interesting. There's actually a lot of unknowns to it right now, but there also is some promise to these being used for different medicinal purposes, things of that nature. And that was kind of what was interesting to see. Researchers are getting into that field now of CBD research, not THC research. There is THC research as well, but if you separate out the THC from the CBDs, yes, you get a little something different there. Stanley says I tried Bastard on Netflix, very fan servicey. After one episode, I had enough. Oh, okay. I never heard of that one, but oh, is that the animated one? Bastard. I think I did see that one. I think I remember seeing it anyway. Yeah, it's anime. Okay, I remember that. I didn't watch that one. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I'm kind of scrolling through. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. And of course, I'll go back and rewatch something like Invincible and go, holy fuck, I forgot how violent this was. Yeah, Invincible is incredibly violent. I forgot how violent it was. I said this before. I rewatched the last episode and I was like, holy fuck, the amount of people they kill and in violent ways too. It's just, yeah. Right. When does season 2 come out? Good question, Stanley. Everyone's waiting on that. I know they're working on it, but there's been no word whatsoever about Invincible season 2 coming out. So I know they're whipping those animators as fast as possible to get stuff out, but and in some cases, quite literally, because some of the animation houses are just sweatshops. They really are overseas sweatshops. As sad as that sounds, and it is. I wouldn't be surprised, if Amazon, employed that same method. But yeah, no word yet on season 2 of Invincible. Of course, I will be talking about it as soon as I hear anything about it. But it's been very, very quiet on that front. Even though the star Steve Yen is in Nope, and there's been no word from him on when that's coming out, or if he's finished doing the voiceover, or what's going on. J.K. Simmons, also nothing from him, nothing from Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is actually the producer, a co-executive producer of that series. Um, you would think with the boys and all that kind of stuff, he would be, since he was out there for the junket for the boys, that there'd be some kind of mention of it, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, yeah. I mean, hell, we heard more about the boys getting, season 4 already has been greenlit. So, is anything Star Wars coming out the rest of the year, Celebro? So if you go over to suspendedfanimation.com, I have a schedule up, and so I have future stuff that's coming out here. And in the future stuff, I've got Star Wars Andor is coming out on August 31st. The Bad Batch is coming out, I believe, the end of this year. They haven't given a release date yet, or did they? I think maybe they did. Let me see here. They did. September 28th is going to be Bad Batch season 2. I need to update that list. So September 28th is going to be the Bad Batch season 2. So of course it's right after Andor comes out. Um, Ahsoka is supposed to be coming out as well next year. I believe The Mandalorian is supposed to be coming out at the end of this year, if I remember correctly, too. Season 3 is supposed to start at the end of this year. So yes, you have Star Wars stuff coming out. So it's gonna be kind of cool. I'm gonna be actually down at Disneyland. Um, Maggie May. Uh, so is Paper Girls good? Um, I'm gonna say this, Maggie May. Watch the first episode. The first episode's only 37 minutes long, and it kind of sets everything up. It's it's worth investing for that first. You know, that first 37 minutes. Stanley says, I'm curious how they fucked up Sandman. Supposedly, it's very comic accurate. Stanley. That's all the early reviews are saying that it's comic accurate. It's Neil Gaiman, of course, who is directing it. So he wrote the script and supposedly is directing the episodes. So I know he's been working on it a lot. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, going back to what you were asking, Celebro. So Star Wars, yes, there are a lot of Star Wars things coming out this year and next year. Who did they cast for Death, Stanley? I don't remember offhand. I don't even know if she's actually a known or not. I can't remember offhand. Sandman. And I scroll through because I know Gwendolyn Christie is playing Lucifer, which I thought was interesting. Unfortunately, Patton Oswalt is voicing Matthew the Raven. Kirby Hal Baptiste is playing Death. Oh, neat. Jenna Coleman is going to be playing Johanna Constantine. Yes, the Constantine that we're talking about. Yes, but Jenna Constantine. So as I was saying, she's been in a few things, Stanley. If you go and take a look at her, oh God, what has she been in? She's been in The Good Place. She was in Barry, Killing Eve. She's been in quite a few things. She actually voiced Dr. May Turner in Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous as well. If you hear her speaking, you will instantly remember, you'll recognize who she is. She was also in Cruella. She played Anita Darling in that. What else has she been in? Yeah, she was in a good chunk of The Good Place, like I said. Veronica Mars, the 2019 reboot, or you know, so she's been in quite a few things. She has a very proper British accent. Yeah. Yeah, Maggie. I haven't watched anything from Apple Plus just because I don't subscribe to it. Um, I was gonna say, so at the end of August when I'm going down to Disneyland, it's gonna be an interesting time there because She-Hulk is gonna be out at that point. So I've got a park hopper pass, so I'm going to both campuses. Avengers Campus should have some She-Hulk related stuff going on. So I'm gonna be taking plenty of pictures there, possibly some video as well. And Andor also comes out right in the middle of when I'm down there. But of course, that is not going to happen any place at Galaxy's Edge because again, Galaxy's Edge is stuck in the timeline of the suckiest trilogy of Star Wars, which is the J.J. Abrams verse. So, but didn't the first Tomb Raider movie sequel bait? It did, Word 789, but they never followed up on it. Stanley says Kirby Hal Baptiste looks cool for Death. Yeah. She's actually a really good actress, Stanley. Again, she's been when you hear her voice, you're gonna go, "Oh yeah, I know who she is." She has a very distinctive voice, and once I found out that she was Dr. May in Camp Cretaceous, I'm like, "Oh yes, I remember who she is now." So, and it's just because her voice really strikes me. That's okay, Maggie, and welcome, by the way, Maggie May. So, yeah, I talk about a lot of different things on this segment of the channel, but yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of what else is coming up here. Again, if you go over to suspendedfanimation.com, I've got the future stuff up there of what's coming out here. So, Sandman, of course, comes out on August 5th. Prey, also on August 5th. Resident Alien Season 2.5, August 10th. Lock and Key Season 3, the final season of Lock and Key, is coming out August 10th, as well as I Am Groot, the Disney Plus series. It's small little segments. I think they're like 10, 15-minute shorts are coming out on August 10th. Um, Day Shift, which is Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg hunting vampires. That's August 12th. She Hulk, August 17th. House of the Dragon, August 21st, which I will be covering House of the Dragon, yes. And of course, Star Wars Endor on August, Andor, um, excuse me, August 31st. So, and Stargirl season 3 on the CW for those of you who are following that, August 31st as well. And then, of course, we start into the Lord of the Rings, all that kind of stuff. I just don't see him paying that much more for another service, another streaming service, Stanley. I'm at my service limit of streaming services that I pay for. If they start offering, like I said, if they started offering season passes to some of these things, then yes, I'll probably do it or actually individual episodes as well. Just being able to buy individual episodes, I would do that. Stanley says Andor is the first Star Wars TV show that doesn't interest me at all. Same here, Stanley. Um, Rogue One was an okay movie, but did it need a sequel or prequel or anything like that? No, no, it really didn't. Andor was not one of those characters that I looked at that said, "Oh, I need to know more," because I really didn't, because he's dead. You know, um, spoiler alert on a 10-year-old movie. I think is where it's at now, or a 5-year-old movie somewhere around there. But yeah, I'm really kind of about Andor. I'm gonna cover it, of course, but yeah, it just wasn't one of those things that was a priority for me to have, on there. Now, would I have rather had a Dr. Aphra, series? Yes, I would have rather had a Dr. Aphra series. If you don't know who Dr. Aphra is, there is a comic, Marvel Comics out there that, and Aphra being Aphra. Yeah, that was actually uh, that's something I would rather see in a series than an Andor series. Andor, when I heard it announced, I was like, why? But all right. Stanley says everything pre-pandemic is a long time ago. True. But not in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. I know it was a bad pun. That was worthy of Apple Crow on that one. But yeah, I am looking forward to the Bad Batch returning. The trailer looks interesting. Of course, The Mandalorian season 3, but the big thing that I'm looking forward to is Ahsoka, the Ahsoka series, because we're going to have a live action Sabine Wren, we're going to have a live action Ezra, and we're also going to have a live action Thrawn. and I can't wait to see what Mickelson's going to be doing with Thrawn. I know he voiced him in the Rebels series, the animated Rebels series, but to watch him be dressed up as Thrawn, uh, it's going to be interesting. And also having read the Timothy Zahn Thrawn series, there's more insight to him. That also plays into they use a lot of Timothy Zahn's novelization into the Star Wars Rebels series. So it's going to be interesting to see a lot of that crossover. It's just an interesting character, a very interesting character that is still shrouded in a lot of fucking mystery. And I'm wondering if they're going to be doing revealing any of that mystery about what the outer what is it? Outside the galaxy, the empire that Thrawn comes from, what they're up to and what they have to say about the empire. And I bet you that's going to be part of it. Is well, not to give too much away, but with the Empire being destroyed in Ahsoka, it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Um, I'm wondering if Thrawn's empire that he's from is going to be making a play for the galaxy now that the Empire is down, because that would be before, of course, you're looking at 15 years before, whatchamacallit, the J.J. Abrams shitty trilogy, which of course shows no influence of that outside influence, outside the galaxy's influence. I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but still, you know, just in case no one's here has actually read or seen any of that stuff. Anyway, I'm interested in seeing Thrawn in live action. Um, with that said, I should probably let you guys go. I'm getting ready to hit the hour mark here. Maybe he creates the First Order, possibly Stanley. That although I don't think that Favreau and Filoni are going to be propping up the First Order stuff. I don't think they're going to be leading anything into that First Order stuff. I'm hoping not. Everything looks like they're actually just kind of trying to wipe away the First Order completely, like just going, nah, it doesn't exist in this universe. It's part of the Kelvin universe. It's J.J. Abrams' universe of Star Wars. It doesn't exist in ours, which would be the correct thing to do. I mean, come on, bringing back the fucking Emperor. Give me a break. Anyway, yes, I know Timothy Zahn brought up that idea too about the Emperor being a clone and blah blah blah. It wasn't a great idea to begin with. So, anyway, on that note, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Well, I've been talking about it before, but I'll say it again. Tomorrow is going to be Westworld. I'm going to cover Westworld, episode 6, I believe we're on. Tuesday is going to be another Is It Worth My Time? It's going to be Paper Girls. Wednesday is going to be episode 3 of Harley Quinn. Thursday will be episode 4 of Harley Quinn. And then Friday and Saturday I'll be off. And then Sunday we roll back around again to the Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off, or take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about. Sirius says either the First Order doesn't exist or a reason for the First Order existing doesn't exist. Unfortunately, there are choices. Those are the choices we've been given. That's a Schrodinger's cat's choice, isn't it, Sirius? I'm so happy they stopped making movies after episodes 1 to 4. 1 to 6. 1 to 6. Excuse me. 1 to 6. There we go. My Roman numerals got messed up in my head there for a minute. So, yes. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Sirius, weren't you supposed to be taking a look at something to see if you liked it or not? Harley Quinn. Did you ever get a chance to watch that or no? And what did you think of it, if you have watched it or not? So, and while he's doing that, I'm going to wrap some stuff up here. If you like what, yes, I saw episode 1. Oh, that's all you saw was just episode 1? That's it? What'd you think? Good, bad, indifferent? Really? Okay. 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 Yeah, I told you it's a different animal. Um, yeah, when I first heard about Harley Quinn, I was pretty much like everyone else, like, "Why are you doing this? It looks like shit, blah, 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 blah." And then I watched it and I'm like, "Okay, this is actually really good." I'm eating my own words on that one. So, yeah, it's definitely worth it. And if you haven't watched, for those of you else out there that haven't watched the animated Harley Quinn on HBO Max, do it. It's actually pretty fucking funny and good. It's also got some heartwarming stuff in there too, and it's really fucking violent. So don't let any of your kids watch it, unless you're that type of parent. Then you're on your own. Child services will probably be knocking at your door. Sirius is my favorite was Ivy's plant, who yells at Harley about a Saint Bernard shitting on his face. Yeah, that's JB Smoove. Yes, he is a recurring character, Frank the Plant. Um, he actually has my favorite line in episode 2 of the of, season 3. So, yes. Uh, and actually, it was kinda cool. I got a, like by JB Smoove on my last tweet about, Harley Quinn episode 2. So, yeah, JB Smoove, "Wee wee, motherfucker." That just made me laugh. It really did. I'm just gonna throw that out there without any context whatsoever. So once you see season 3, then you'll know what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. So one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next or a close approximation, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule. I put it up every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. Sirius says instant classic, good way to make Ivy a sympathetic character, making her plants characters. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for Westworld. Until then, have a good rest of your weekend. Stay safe, be well, take care. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that I don't know, it's still the weekend and you still got a few hours left to do whatever you need to do. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your weekend. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well because they don't work without them. And stay safe out there, everyone. Have a good rest of your day and have a good one. Thanks, everyone.